It's the highly scandalous fourth episode of HBO's House of the Dragon, the episode that gave us predatory uncles, lies, lies, and more lies, and a tired king who doesn't need a hand.
But I can no longer trust your judgment.
Hello, Soap Opera Nation, and welcome back. I'm your host, Keisha Chantal, your only source for petty recaps of popular television shows, movies, and the occasional trending pop culture moment. If you're new to my channel, hi, thanks for watching. And consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up because it lets YouTube know to send other people over here so they can also have a good laugh. Because all the world's a soap opera, honey, and your faves in the Seven Kingdoms are just as messy and dramatic as the rest of them. All right, get comfy. It's story time. Once upon a time, 200 years before Jon Snow knew nothing in the Game of Thrones, when the House of Targaryan was the ruling family in Westeros, there was a king named Viserys who was running shit. Or was he? Our tale begins like any awkward limo entrance from The Bachelorette. Our lead, played by the fair but rebellious Princess Rhaenyra, does not think that her future husband is in this room. Gentlemen, this is the final rose tonight.
See that steel, you twat!
Send word to the harbour and have Captain Oswin ready the ship.
Definitely the most dramatic season in Bachelorette history. No hometowns for these guys, I guess. Now that that's settled, Rhaenyra can't wait to get home to King's Landing. Sure, she's 2 months early, and still a princess without a prince, but let's not quibble over the details. Instead, let's talk about Rhaenyra's uncle, Prince Daemon, who just returned to the Targaryan fold after leading 3 years of unsanctioned war in the Stepstones with Lord Corlys. It's the hot goss on everyone's lips in court. The prodigal prince returns. It feels like Viserys is just bracing himself for Daemon to start some crap because he knows that's his MO. But after a dramatic pause or two...
You wear a crown. Do you also call yourself king?
Once we smash the Triarchy, they name me King of the Narrow Sea.
Daemon's bone crown is giving, you're not the only one who can be king around here, you know. Y'all know Daemon has been thirsting to be the successor of the Iron Throne for a while now, right? And he takes every opportunity to remind Big Brother of the fact. But what can you do? The court is full of onlookers, and Daemon did technically bring home a win for the king. So, can we press pause on the simmering resentment for just a moment so that we can celebrate? Yes? Great! Bring on the food and the wine and a private viewing of the new tapestries.
Would you like to see the tapestry?
Is that no on the tapestries then? All right. Well, I guess the women folk can scurry off to the side to talk and leave the men to drink themselves into a stupor. Cheerio! What follows are 2 interesting conversations between Rhaenyra and Alicent, and later, hot, sexy Uncle Daemon. However, the themes of both conversations are the same. Rhaenyra is struggling with the role of ascending to the Iron Throne as the first woman ruler. The irony in all of this, of course, pun intended, is that it's the most powerful seat in Westeros, and yet it can't empower Rhaenyra to escape the expectations and burdens that come with being a woman who wishes to chart her own course but can't because anatomy. Now let's get to this conversation between Rhaenyra and Daemon. We've all felt this weird sexual energy going on between these two. Am I right? Since the day that she met old boy in the throne room and he gifted her with this necklace, something about the way he put it around her neck didn't sit right with my spirit. Coming back to present day, Rhaenyra seeks out dear Uncle D. And the two get to talking about duty versus desire. And I'm sorry, why are we at episode 4 and we have yet to meet this infamous bronze bitch that Daemon is married to and hates with every fiber of his being? Who is this poor wretch? And why does Daemon hate her guts? I'm dying to know. Anyway, Damon dismisses Rhaenyra's doom and bloom approach to life and says, if she continues down this path, then she's going to miss the best parts. As it turns out, the best parts is a night on the town dressed as a street urchin when Rhaenyra finds a map in her bedroom that leads to a secret passageway behind her bed. Well, down the rabbit hole we go. I see you have found the secret note that led to the secret passageway. Excellent. Tonight, we ought to be peasants touring the streets beyond the gate to see what life has to offer. Come, child, make haste to your scandal and ruin. I hope you notice that Rhaenyra did not hesitate for a second to take Daemon's hand. It really gives you some insight as to her frame of mind. On one hand, she's been dying for this chance to escape, and on the other hand, it reminds you how stupid teenagers can be. So next we have two scenes that are juxtaposed against each other. On one side is duty, and on the other side is desire. So Alicent is being forced to endure the duty that comes with queendom and being married to the most powerful man in Westeros, which includes bathing his open sores, bleh! Oh no, and being forced to have sex with him, even though she's clearly not interested and it's very late at night. But, you can't say no as a woman in those days. That is your job. If your husband calls you, you best get up and get to it. I would hate to be a woman in these times. I'd throw myself over the nearest balcony. Seriously. Yuck. Meanwhile, in the City of Sin, Damon and Rhaenyra wander the streets, taking in all the filthy sights, drinking and watching a play that mocks Rhaenyra's ascension to the Iron Throne as the first woman ruler. Then later, they somehow wander into a pleasure house. How did that happen? That place must reek of unwashed bodies. Couldn't be me. Not sure why, but I have my suspicions. Damon removes his cloak and Rhaenyra's hat and leads her to a private room where you know what happens next. Don't need to get into the details. Damon somehow then loses his nerve as he's about to consummate the act. And I don't know what to make of this. On one hand, it could be that this was his plan all along, to just take her there, get her all hot and bothered, and then leave her alone. Or maybe he actually, in his own sick, depraved way, cares about her and realizes that doing it this way is debasing and defiling her. So maybe that's not the best way to do it. I don't know. Anyway, it's no matter which way you want to approach it, it's still nasty as hell. And I'm very, very nauseous. I need a barf bag, seriously. Since Daemon couldn't finish, Rhaenyra had to return to King's Landing to get the job done herself, with the help of a certain hot knight. Kristen is delicious, but you know that Rhaenyra was thinking about Daemon the whole time. No good deed goes unpunished. And naturally, word got back to the castle that Damon and Rhaenyra were in town the night before, being hella nasty with one another. Acting on the word of a snitch, Otto then goes to Viserys' bedchambers to give him the discomforting news.
Damon and Rhaenyra were seen together in the bowels of a pleasure den.
But, of course, Viserys doesn't believe him. He thinks he has an agenda, and he's not wrong. Next, Alicent summons Rhaenyra to the garden to interrogate her like the horny teenager that she is. But of course, Rhaenyra lies through her perfectly white teeth. She even swears on her own mama. Something should be sacred, girl.
Damon never touched me. I swear this to you, upon the memory of my mother.
Even though he claims not to believe Otto and his source, Viserys summons his brother to the throne room and kicks him like the dog that he is.
Give me Rhaenyra to take to wife, and we will return the House of the Dragon to its proper glory.
Nasty! But this is a tradition of the Targaryens. Brothers marrying sisters and cousins, getting with cousins. I mean, it's a family affair. Nothing is off limits. Ew! After Viserys basically banishes his little brother from King's Landing for his nastiness, he pretty much gets that it's time to have a serious talk with Rhaenyra because she's acting the whole ass fool and everything is riding on setting her straight. Rhaenyra enters and he tells her about the prophecy about the prince who was promised and basically uses it as a catalyst to tell her, listen here, little girl.
Your courtship is at an end. You will wed Selene of Velaryon, and you will do so without protest.
You're gonna do what I tell you to because I'm your dad and you're gonna be the next queen and I ain't got time for your foolishness. All right, now go to bed. And just to get one last dig in, Rhaenyra says, okay, no problem, I'll do my duty. But guess what, daddy? You have a vulture that perches on the throne. What you gonna do about that? And Viserys is like, what you talking about? What vulture?
The loyal and must tell his king a discomforting truth from time to time, your grace.
Oh well, such is life. Next we have Grandmeister Mellows taking a little walk over to Rhaenyra's room in the dead of night with a bottle of some prepared mysterious tea. And I heard the internet call it plan tea. And I was like, oh my God, internet is always winning. So in medieval times, I guess this would have been a plan B, but it's plan T.
It will rid you of any unwanted consequences.
Well, that's it for this recap of King of the Narrow Sea, episode 4 of House of the Dragon. What did you guys think of this episode? Do you think that Rhaenyra is writing checks that her ass can't cash? Do you think that we've seen the last of the problematic Prince Daemon? The answer is no. Let me know in the comments. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until I see you next time, stay petty. Mwah.